Hey guys, this is Inferno Bird here. There are some of you that may be wondering, well, what is the best Sprint phone? And I am going to give you my opinion on what to buy, how to buy it, whatever. And and those of you that watch my videos, I'm pretty big on Android, but iPhones as well are a viable option that you can purchase. It all depends on your preference, and I know like so many people say that, it's all your preference. It's all your preference. Well, it really is. I recommend Androids for people who like tinkering with technology and know what they're doing with you know with software and whatnot. I recommend iPhones actually as like a simple tool. You want the simple use of a smartphone. You want, all you want to do is browse the internet, take pictures, text, and phone. That's all you want, is to do those things. I highly recommend the iPhone. But those of you that like a little bit more, uh, I would say in-depth technology, I recommend Android. The only thing about Android is you got to know what you're doing with it. If you don't know what you're doing with it, then you can mess it up really easily. So I mean, for that sake, I'm giving the disclaimer that I do recommend iPhones to certain people. I actually recommended my girlfriend the iPhone to get one, and she might be getting one soon. But so I mean, wow, an Android guy recommending iPhone. Woo! What in the world? Yeah, I am. It's cool. It's no big deal. It's all your preference. Is what it is. But I mean, as far as Androids go, being that there are so many out there, I'm going to show you my personal preference on the Android selection, I guess you could say. Oh, there's another thing. I don't really recommend BlackBerry. BlackBerry to me is outmoded these days. It just it doesn't function for everything that a phone should be these days and these times. So I mean, I really don't recommend BlackBerry over anything else. Over Apple or Android software. But anyway, going into Android, select Android. Now you got these selections, and I would automatically rule out the LG Optimus S, the Motorola Expert, the Transform, Express from Sprint, Samsung Replenish. I don't recommend these phones. Just because they're not really all that great. They got a 3.2 megapixel or 2 megapixel, or just a really small screen where you can't really see anything. 3-inch, 2-inch, 2.6-inch. So I don't recommend those phones. So going on to the higher end phones, which is like the Galaxy Nexus or the LG Viper 4G LTE, which is pretty fast, I'm assuming. I don't get 4G where I'm at right now, unfortunately, so it kind of sucks. But I mean, it's whatever. I'm sure it'll come eventually. And Samsung Galaxy S2 Epic 4G Touch, I highly recommend. And Motorola Photon 4G, really good. I don't know why they redid the Evo. I really don't understand that. Why they did that is beyond me. But I guess it could be a decent phone. I just don't like the screen size. It's not big enough for me. I like taking pictures. I like doing that kind of stuff and being able to see what I'm doing on the phone. So it's almost the bigger the screen the better, but I won't say that as much as it is the processing speed. Once again, I wouldn't recommend any of the lower end phones. This was actually my first Android phone, was the HTC Hero, and it has actually gone a long way. I've watched the XDA developers and stuff do a lot with these phones, and it's kind of funny, but I mean, You know, just because it's so old at this point. But I mean, you know, all the same, an okay phone, I guess. But anyway, so going to, let's see, let's expand one of my recommendations, like the Galaxy Nexus details. Okay, Galaxy Nexus is, you know, it has the Android, of course, and the 4G LTE, which is supposed to be super fast. Got Wi-Fi on there, got, you know, TV, entertainment, music, and all that stuff. You know, it's pretty standard, except for the LTE. That's, you know, that's on a select few phones. But I mean, most of this is pretty standard for Android these days. But so, I mean, it all comes down to the battery, which is 1850 milliamps lithium ion battery, which gives you 7.5 hours of talk time, which is pretty high. It does have ice cream sandwich running on it, which is really nice. That's kind of cool. I didn't realize that, but it has a dual-core 1.2 gigahertz processor, 32 gigabyte internal memory, which is nice. You know, so I mean that's a really decent phone for Sprint, and I once again, the reason why I recommended it. The design of it isn't so bad either. I understand it as a developer's phone. You know, like what I'm told or what I hear is, you know, it looks like a developer's phone. That's the way it looks, and I'm like, well, okay, what does that mean? And I never really figured that out. Why does it look like a developer's phone? But I mean, it looks pretty fine to me. I mean, the design of it is you know, decent. You know, you got the I guess it's the 5 megapixel camera on the back. Let's see. Yeah, 5 megapixel camera on the back, which is, you know, okay. I mean, they come in 8 megapixel cameras now on the phones. But anyway, going back, let's see. Alright, let's check out another one, LG Viper LTE. Okay, so it's got the 4G LTE, Wi-Fi, all the standard stuff. It's got a little bit more than the other phone too. It's got the Sprint ID, the latest Android innovation from Sprint. Allows you to instantly personalize your phone to complement your needs and interests. I don't know what that means, but it's whatever. Takes video and all that stuff. It is running not a later version, but a older version of Android. I see is 2.3. So that, I mean, that might be something to consider whenever you buy it. 7 hours of talk time. You know, it isn't bad, but it's not that great. Display 4 inches. I mean, this is a pretty standard Android phone, but all the same, you know, pretty decent for anything you could use it for. So, and it has mobile hotspot, which is nice, and if you root it, then you can get that and do it without having to pay for it. I don't recommend that, but I mean, you know, if I know a lot of people do that anyway. Let's see. Alright, this is probably one of my more favorite ones, is the Samsung Galaxy S2 Epic. And I mean, for obvious reasons. I mean, it has a big touch screen. It has a let's see. It has 4G WiMAX, but not of the LTE, which is kind of funny, because you would think it would have the LTE being such a high-end phone. But oh wow, it is running Android 2.3 too. It's not updated yet. Wow. Huh. I didn't know that. But, you know, all the same, I want it because of the big screen. I don't really want it bad enough to buy it. So, I mean, you know, I may use it or use one of my friends' phones and enjoy it, whatnot, just for the screen. But it does have excellent battery, 800 or 1800 milliamps, 4.52 inch full touchscreen Super AMOLED Plus. That's why I like this phone, is the huge screen on it. 8.7 hours of talk time, which is really nice. It has a dual core processor, and it's pretty light. So I mean, for being such a big phone with a big display, it does have a really nice you know, watt hours. It's really, you know, a talk time on it, on the battery. So I mean, that's pretty cool. Oh, you may be wondering, what phone do I have now? I currently have the Evo 3D, the HTC Evo 3D, and it has been serving me quite well, you know, these past many months, and I, you know, I'm having trouble switching from it, and they actually don't offer it anymore, which is kind of weird. And I'm curious why they don't offer the 3D anymore, because in my opinion every company should have, because since the 3D came out, they should all have some phone that offers the 3D camera. But here's another one of my favorites, is the Motorola Photon 4G, and the details are, I know it has a dual core processor. It is actually, I have a friend who has one, and he said it's so durable. You know, you almost don't even need a OtterBox, which I currently own and use OtterBox and highly recommend it. But it's running Android 2.3. Has 1700 milliamps and 10 hours of talk time, which is really nice. I mean, the battery life on that thing, you could use it all day long and never have to worry about it. It has a 4.3 inch QHD capacitive touchscreen. I mean, that's pretty decent for a phone, and I kind of like the way it looks, how they got the cut edges off there. It's, you know, it's pretty neat. But anyway, that's my favorite phones. Is, I would have to say, the Motorola Photon 4G, the Galaxy, the Samsung Galaxy S2, the Galaxy Nexus, and the LG Viper 4G LTE. Those four phones I like the best, just because of the screen, the battery, and, you know, the memory and whatnot. Of course, I am using one that hasn't, you know, has been discontinued apparently, which is the Evo 3D. But the Samsung Galaxy S2, I would have to say, is probably my favorite phone out of the four, just because of the screen. I'm a big fan on the screen. Now, if you are a fan of battery and you want more battery, I recommend the Photon 4G, the Motorola Photon 4G, and it is great. At 10 hours of talk time, you can't beat it. But I mean, if you like the display and you like showing off movies and videos and different stuff like that, I highly recommend the Samsung Galaxy S2 Epic 4G Touch. It's probably about as desired as my Evo 3D, and the reason why I haven't switched to the Samsung Galaxy S2 Epic 4G Touch. But it does come in white and black, which is kind of cool. And I'll probably get the white one because I've had black phones. Just, you know, that's personal preference though. But that is my selection. The Samsung Galaxy S2 4G Epic 4G Touch. That's my choice. So, for those of you that were wondering, there it is. That's my recommendation. So, anyway, if you like the video, if you like, you know, my view on things, please don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe if you choose to. I appreciate it very much. You know, I get a kick out of reading comments and everything else. So I mean, if you feel obliged to leave a comment or criticize my videoing abilities or my voiceovers or anything like that, please don't be shy. And by don't be shy, I mean don't be too mean either. But anyway, take care, guys. Hope you have a good day.